it's never gonna stop. Like, never. It's when one dealer gets caught, there's 5 more waiting to take his spot. Like, this will never stop. As long as there's a demand for pills, they're gonna keep coming.
It's the devil's pill, man. For a person that has an addiction of 20 pills a day, you literally have to go and do crime and like, you know what I mean? Steal this and go sell this, and then you start, you know, doing stuff that you never have ever, you know what I mean, thought of doing when you were normal, when you weren't on these pills.
23. It's been 5 years that I've been addicted to these pills. It scares me sometimes to think about what's gonna happen. I kind of just live day to day. Panhandle every day, try and make my money. Try and make sure I'm not sick.
It doesn't last long, so you're sick again. Like, heroin you can do in the morning and you can be all good till tomorrow. Like, fentanyl you can withdraw like 3 times a day.
Half to 1% of fentanyl users will die. And if we lost close to 300 last year, then we're looking at 30,000. I think we're probably more looking at 40, 50, maybe even 60,000 people using.
Most fentanyl people I see are not 30, 40, 50. It's late 20s all the way down to 14. And that's the scary part, especially with how often it kills people versus being able to get into treatment. I mean, the deaths for fentanyl is outrageous.
Fentanyl is a pharmaceutical drug in the class of drugs called opiates. Initially, it was used in the 1960s for severe pain in operative procedures. And now you start to see fentanyl used for chronic pain patients who have pain from a whole variety of conditions. The fentanyl we're seeing on the street, though, is illicitly prepared fentanyl, most likely from China.
It's crazy to see how our lives have changed. Like 5 years ago, I never would imagine that I'd be homeless or wearing the same clothes for 3-4 days at a time. But when you start doing pills, you start to not really give a fuck what people think, because you know that you need that drug, and the fact that it's an opiate is hard because you get sick from it, right? So when you're sick, it's like you'll do anything to get unsick.
We have 300 and some in treatment at our place. So essentially, we have about as many people in treatment at this clinic as there are people who will die from fentanyl this year. Ashley, come on. Hi. How you feeling?
Not great.
No. When was the last time you took fentanyl?
Like yesterday.
One of the most primitive parts of the human brain is where we sense and seek reward. Food, fluids, fun, and reproduction. How'd you do it?
I snorted it.
And the chemical in our brain that increases when we have a rewarding experience is dopamine. Hands up. When you eat something that you enjoy, you get a dopamine surge in your brain. It reinforces that, so you look for that stimulus again. The response to drugs of abuse are orders of magnitude more in terms of dopamine.
Like I said yesterday, it doesn't take long for me to go into withdrawal.
I know. So this is why it's very common that we see patients who have addictions, they're always, always, always looking for the reward of the addictive substance. That's not a will issue. That's a neurochemical issue. And that's in the most primitive part of the brain. So what we're trying to tell people with these, with the moral stance that we tend to take as a society is, well, use the more evolved parts of your brain to turn off your survival mechanisms. It's next to impossible to do that without trying to stabilize that initial survival aberrancy.
Just remember where you were before you came here, right? Where you told me you was at, and all that pain and sadness you felt every single day. Do you want to be going back to that or not?
In 2012, when OxyContin was reformulated into a, tamper-resistant or an abuse-deterrent form called OxyNeo, there was a bit of a panic because OxyContin was probably the most widely traded opiate on the street, in the illicit opiate trade.
I've had better days, man.
I think most people working in addiction were expecting that heroin would make a comeback when OxyContin went away. And that's the worst that I think most of us saw coming. We didn't expect fentanyl to come.
What makes you want to get cleaned up?
I'm done with this. Like, I fucking hate it.
You got to make sure you're doing it for yourself. You can't be doing it for your family. You can't be doing it for some girl.
Yeah.
And you got to be ready to go those steps. If you do want to get clean, I can get you into the 1825 program here.
Don't you gotta be clean already to come here?
You need 5 days.
But like, I can't like stay clean long enough to like get on it.
Well, the only way to get to the first point is that willpower, right? Either way, it's gonna suck.
I know, that's why I can't do it, because no matter what, like, if there's a way to like get unsick, like I'm gonna do it. I can't take it. I'm a bitch when it comes to withdrawals. Like,
The withdrawals are pretty much the easiest part of a recovery. It seems like the hardest at the time, but all the work you got to put in afterwards, that's when it gets tough. But you got to get over that first hump. He's nodding off. He knows that it's the right thing to do. He knows that it's what he wants to do, but he's not willing to take the steps to get there just yet.
The challenge with people who are addicted to fentanyl is because it's such a powerful and toxic opiate, the withdrawal syndrome is also quite pronounced.
I'd rather die than go through the pain of the withdrawals of these pills. Once you do a pill, you feel relaxed, you can function, and you can go through your day. Like, you know what I mean? You can be normal.
you feel it in your bones, you're restless, but you're so weak you can't move. But you got to, because like the anxiety, it's just unbearable. It's like, there's nothing else like that I could use to describe of what it's like. It's something else. You see people unloading their groceries, you just ask them, hey, excuse me, sorry to bother you, blah, blah, I need some food or whatever. And no one really minds to give up a cart. And like in 20 minutes, you can easily push like 10, 15 carts, and there's 15 bucks right there. That's $5 away from your pill, so.
When I was working in a donation center, and I would steal any gold that came in, any silver, any computers, anything I could sell. But I remember finding a wallet, and it was this deceased lady's wallet, and she had the Bay card in there. As long as you swiped underneath 1,000, then you just had to sign, so I practiced her signature. And I took all of this dead lady's money. Nope. Blocked. I'll panhandle. The only thing I really do. The door used to be open all the time because I don't want to get money. There's something that's going to get me in trouble, you know? I never ever thought that I would ever do that. In a million years, I ever think I'd be sitting outside a store with a sign.
But again, like I said, it makes you do things that you never do, and it's not you, it's the drug, right?
Yeah.
At around 6:30, I go to the Tim Hortons drive-thru and I hold a sign up, and everyone that passes through, they give me change, and I make roughly like no less than $100 every morning, like anywhere from 100 to 160. I feel bad saying it, but it's all just playing people. You just got to look at the person, read them, and tell them exactly what they want to hear.
First, you start doing it just to get high, and it makes, you know what I mean? But eventually, after you start to get sick and pain, then you need it. And then that's when you start selling your stuff, you start selling your clothes. You know, eventually you have nothing.
Having an opiate addiction is like a full-time job that you never have a break from. Like, if I could kick this addiction and not do it anymore and continue to do the things I do to make money, like, I was doing the math and adding it up. In the last year from doing this, it was like 180 grand. And I'm sure I only spent maybe like 2 grand of that on food.
Oh, no. Are you serious?
Yeah, shit.
This used to be our house.
I hurt myself today.
I'm getting my shit, too. Maybe a change of pants.
I hurt myself today. there's the honey I used to have. Look at all this honey. I used to eat this. Sick, huh? Honey.
I do love him a lot. When everything gets so bad, you know, like to the point where you're on the streets, it's like you don't even want to be sober because it's like life just sucks.
Yeah, take your sweater.
Oh, yeah, my sweater. Like there was a time when he was in jail and I was staying at the DI, and every day I was making like $200 and I didn't have to support anybody but myself, right? So I was getting lots of beans.
What else do you need?
But I'd rather be with him on the streets than without him on the streets. It's sad. They were charging us $100, and we couldn't come up with $100 a week because actually, honestly, I would have the money and I would be like, oh no, I'll be able to get it later and this and that. And I would spend it on pills, and then eventually they just got sick of the excuses, right?
The police, when they do drug seizures, will test to find out what the quantity is of fentanyl in a pill that they've seized from a batch, and are routinely finding pills that are 4 or 5 milligrams worth of fentanyl.
Honestly, like, at a point where your tolerance is so high, if you get a bad one, it's good.
The dose of fentanyl that's required for a euphoric buzz is about 2 grains of salt. If you try and imagine putting 2 grains of salt on your morning eggs, sometimes you're going to get 5, sometimes you're going to get 10. And that's the same thing that happens when you're preparing these pills. Some of them are going to be extremely hot and likely to kill you.
I'm going to do another one.
A fatal fentanyl dose for you or me is about 1.5 to 2 milligrams. And even in a drug user who's quite opiate tolerant, 4 or 5 milligrams can very likely be a fatal dose.
And we're good.
Hey, Dayton.
High as I was before. High as a bird.
Okay. A little pill was controlling me. Like, it literally took over my mind and my thoughts to where I pushed my wife away, my kids. I probably spent about 100,000 on fentanyls, maybe even more, who knows? You need the bathroom? Okay. Let's go, you guys. Dayton. There's a way out of it. It's just how bad you want it, how hungry you want it, Terry. For me, it was hitting rock bottom, like losing everything. Money, trucks, like everything, my wife, and that's what stopped me.
In 5 years, I hope to see myself clean. I hope to have, like, a beautiful girlfriend. I hope to be working. I hope to have my life on track again. Like, I think about getting clean every single day. It's just, there's not enough resources out here to get us all clean. A lot of us don't want to be clean. A lot of us are okay with this life, but I'm not. It's not for me, but this is where it's got me stuck, and this is what I got to do.
I think is most startling is who it's affecting. Right? And the answer is pretty much everybody. You know, young people, old people, soccer moms, divorced dads, investment bankers, people who don't have a bank account, right? New immigrants, people whose ancestors were the first people in Canada. And when a problem starts to affect demographics that we typically care more about, I think we're more likely to say maybe a bad choice was involved, but we can't hang those kids out to dry. Whereas, you know, typically in conservative Alberta, if we had inner city dwelling homeless person who was using injection drugs, we might be less concerned about that. The reality is, They're all human beings. Thank you.
Can I get chicken fried rice?
And I'll have a steak pho. Thank you. Like, do you ever worry about dying?
No.
You ever lost a friend who does drugs?
Yeah, I've lost 11 people.
You're how old?
22.
You've buried 11 friends.
Well, I know of 11 friends that have been buried.
A lot of people think, well, if you've
Lost that many friends, why do you keep doing it?
Why do you keep doing it?
Because you can't stop.
Yeah.
It's too hard. You need help to stop. I just can't find a facility that'll take me in and do what I need. Like, here there's Renfrew or whatever, but they're just gonna stick me in a freaking room and make me wait it out. I can't do that. I need medication to get off it. I need it.
Yeah. If I could get you an appointment with somebody in Calgary to talk about your treatment options here in town, would you go?
Yeah, of course I would.
You would?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd be so thankful for that.
One of my colleagues who works with me in Edmonton actually practices in Calgary as well because he lives here.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk to him about getting you the next available appointment, and then he can just talk to you about what the options are in Calgary.
That'd be awesome.
One of them he'll talk to you about is methadone and Suboxone.
Because I don't have money for any of this, right? Like,
Yeah, you don't need money for this. It's healthcare.
Piago kita kena suka pergi pada bisa. Oh, kimi sami pada piobah, saya piop statsiman gamodan.
The first overdose that I have witnessed as a physician was I pulled into the Walmart parking lot in July of 2014. There was a car parked right next to me and the door fell open. The young man who was driving that vehicle fell out onto the pavement and he wasn't breathing. And he didn't have a pulse. When I went over and pulled him out of the vehicle and didn't realize at that time that that was one of the first fentanyl overdoses that we were going to experience here. Before we would see 1 to 2 overdoses from narcotics a week, but now we were seeing up to 2 to 3 overdoses a day. And sure enough, all of those overdoses had fentanyl in them.
You know, we're working to be a step ahead, and it seems like we're always just chasing, so. We started meeting with the community partnership group to get into homes when we've identified homes that are at risk. And in the last month, we've probably been into 4 or 5 houses where they've all come back with drug seizures. So the first community we'll go through here is Standoff. This is our main community. You'll see a lot of these boarded up houses. We have a mandate to focus on families that are affected by drugs and harboring drug dealers, and we're tasked to go in and shut these homes down.
Growing up was fun, but now it's just bad. I'm tired of being asked where to get pills. Then it feels like I'm telling them to go buy them and die, you know what I mean? It just feels ugly. I practically know like everybody in Standoff. My house is open to everybody. Fentanyl, but it's pretty much taking over Standoff. Like wherever you go, someone's looking for a pill. Probably 85%, like almost up there. Like pretty much all the Standoff. This is my friend right here. He OD'd. Sometimes I just think about these people. Like my cousin Marianne, just first time doing it. She did it at this house with the dealer, and then the dealer like
didn't know what to do because she was ODing. Put her in a stroller, a baby stroller, pushed her through the back alley to the back of her house and left her, and they all ran away. And then the ambulance came and she was already gone. Dealers that come into standoff, they don't care about my people. They'll move into a house and then those people get evicted. They'll move to a different house where those people will get evicted. That's what I was saying, these people that let dealers come in don't think about it, eh? They just think about getting that fixed. If we want to make a dent, we gotta get rid of all the dealers, all the trafficking, you know.
I'm gonna sit up here and see if I can take it down when it leaves.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure Alert will be very interested in knowing that vehicle's out here. So we just located a target vehicle that we've been looking for a while. There's a bunch of people associated to that are wanted on major charges right now, so. You made that stop?
And just waiting for additional units there. I can see possibly 2 to 3 occupants in the vehicle.
Let's go make that stop. 10-4, we're 17.
Inside the vehicle, I'm just gonna take it down here by Public Works.
There we go. Step out of the vehicle. Do you have anything on you that I'm gonna find? No? Hand behind your back. Well, we have information that you guys have been related to possession and trafficking. So right now you're under arrest for that, okay? The computers are down right now, they just said, so we'll have to wait. So this is common with fentanyl abuse, and along the edge of that razor, you can see the green residue. The green residue is from the fentanyl. This is definitely drug related. There's another bundle of cash here. Whose cash is in that vehicle?
Well, that's for my son.
Oh, that's for your son?
Well, I'm supposed to pay child support, right?
And you normally carry it like that, in bundles? And the girl that you're with?
Just doing my cousin a favor, and she just told me to give her a ride to her mom.
Okay, stand up. What town? So this is typically a way that we would get a bust on this. So we know that there's someone at a house, so we're gonna go over to the house and we're gonna try and make entry into the house.
We certainly want to hold the people that are profiting from the sale of fentanyl accountable, but at the same time recognize that we need to support the addicts who are addicted to fentanyl. Well, make sure that the dispatcher knows where you guys are working, and so if there's any problems, that we can get uniform support in the area as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Usually after we do an arrest, we will monitor the drug dealer's phone. And what I've noticed now is the desperation on the other end of the phone. As before with the crack and cocaine and meth, you get one call and they wouldn't call back. With fentanyl, they're calling back a dozen times, like, where are you, where are you? I'll give you $100 of one bean, and just like the desperation in the voice is something that I've really noticed with fentanyl we didn't have before.
I miss it. I actually miss it. It's in the back of my head. I miss the chaos. I enjoy summer times. I like doing what I did. The only reason it's not the only reason I quit, but when I quit, it just happened to be winter time, and every winter time I'm like, I don't want to do this. And now I almost feel scared, so scared, because it's almost summertime, and I know that I can get it. I know that I want it, but it's 6 months down the road, and I'm scared of dying. I'm scared that I'm gonna do too big of a lie, but I just want to do it. And I don't know how to fix that.
It's normal to feel that way. The only way to fix that is to let it out like you're doing right now, to talk about it. If you sit there and you keep thinking about it and pondering on it, eventually it's gonna happen. You gotta share that with other people. There's nothing different about what you're going through than what other people are. The fantasies are still there. The fear is still there. And that's a healthy fear. Use that fear to drive you to do things that make you uncomfortable to better your recovery.
Meetings.
Meetings, new friends, new places.
When we say that fentanyl is 100 times as toxic as morphine, what we're saying is that a pound of fentanyl is the same as 100 pounds of morphine, or about 50 pounds of heroin. So if you're a drug trafficker, you can move 1 million doses of fentanyl in a shoebox or in a glasses case, compared to requiring a skid for morphine. That's a huge attraction for a drug dealer, I would imagine.
The tablets are $20 a pill in Calgary, and obviously there's significant profit margins to be made. The price for a kilogram of fentanyl is about $12,500 American. Of course, each kilogram can make 1 million tablets. So once you do the math, it's obviously significant profit margins there.
So this person that we believe is at this house, he is a violent gangster. He's been known to have weapons with him and in his house, including guns, knives, things like that. We do have vests for you guys, but you're not suited up, so.
Which house?
This house, 615. Control Charlie 1, can you give me the number for housing? We're at a house right now where we have a suspected drug dealer. We were informed that he's at this house, 615, and nobody's coming to the door. Can you possibly come give us a hand?
Sure, I'll be right there. 6:15?
Yeah, 615.
Okay, I'll be right there.
Thank you. The homes are owned by the reserve. So they've been given a band council resolution, which is a legal document from the chief and council that says if there's suspected drug use and harboring and dealing from residents, that they can make entry into that house.
These are our locks.
They are your locks, eh?
Can we try the back door?
Yep, the back door's all piled with garbage, but we can give it a try. We're gonna try the back door. Do you want to watch the front? Oh, it's boarded.
The last time when we made the arrest on them originally, we couldn't get in here.
There we go. Please, coming in.
Who's that?
Come on out with your hands first. Open the door, put your hands out right away. Okay, put your hands up on the wall. Who else is in here?
Nobody.
Why aren't you answering the door when I'm knocking?
I didn't hear you guys.
You didn't hear me.
Oh.
Okay, right now you're under detention. How much did you flush? But I got some roaches and stuff in here that I'll have you. Oh, I got fentanyl right here. I think he was just getting rid of it as fast as he could. He's not from here. He has no ties to this reserve. And that's a common thing that we're finding is people come from outside this reserve to this reserve, primarily just to sell and make their quick buck. And then they move on. Another good sign of trafficking, baggies, right? We found fentanyl use, some fentanyl, and some crack. He'd flushed when we came in. So luckily for us, it was still in the toilet. I'm almost positive that there's a lot more. It's probably in that trap in the toilet right now.
Yeah, they were going to buy because there was $4 grand in that truck.
There was $4 grand that was in that truck, so this had probably tied them over until they're back with the new shipment kind of thing. The housing guy that came out, He's gonna come up and he's gonna board this house. He's gonna evict these people. That's helping us a lot out here because people are scared to lose their house. Because they lose their house out here, they're paying probably, 1% compared to what they'd be paying in the city or Cardston or Fort McLeod kind of thing. Come here. That's a cute little cat, eh?
I don't think we're going to charge our way out of this. It's more education and be able to provide to these addicts an escape. So it's very hard for us to encourage them to give up the get clean or whatever, because we have nowhere to send them. That's the main problem we're having.
Panhandling. It's not security, it's peace officers. Let's go this way. Usually I can get a couple hours out of the train station before peace officers will come. But lately it's been pretty heat around here. I don't know, Dollarama is usually pretty good. Oh, we already got somebody over there, it looks like. I think Ryan and Sean. Well, there goes that idea. Panhandler's rights, right? So can't do somewhere where somebody's already there.
I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that Canadian doctors' prescribing of opiates over the last couple of decades has really had a substantial role in determining this opiate addiction problem that we have here. We prescribe opiates for minor pain conditions. We prescribe opiates long-term for chronic pain conditions. And I have a really hard time believing that Canadian people, patients, feel pain differently than their counterparts in other parts of the world. Canadians and Americans are far and away the largest consumer of prescription opiates, more than 150% more than the third place, Denmark.
You suck. New to Calgary, eh?
I am new. Fresh blood here.
I go to Winners, man. Winners is bomb. You get 20s like fucking no tomorrow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's try it out.
But you gotta not go near the window, else you get kicked out.
All right. Oh, shit. Got someone shoplifting over there, it looks like. Holy, man. Oh, wow. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't usually do here. It's really embarrassing, but when you have a habit to support, and not only that, but even just to eat when you're on the streets, what else do you do besides steal, right? I'd rather not, so I'd rather... Thank you. It's okay, it's okay. Thank you. God bless. Making something here, I guess.
What's stopping you from doing fentanyl aside from your family?
Every time I run into my old friends, they always tell me, like, you can't do this, like, you can't fall down that path. And as much as you're supposed to get rid of your friends that are still addicted and everything, they're kind of like my support group.
You care about them, and they care about you.
That's my family.
They don't want to bring you down. You know how powerful this stuff is. And carry with you a naloxone kit. So naloxone is the antidote for an opiate overdose. You probably heard about it on the news, yeah? So there's a number of components.
Yes.
So what happens when somebody overdoses on an opiate is the part of your brain that tells your lungs to breathe turns off, okay? Because they're not breathing on their own, it's really important to establish an airway for them. And the way you ventilate them is you use this mask, you plug their nose, and you blow into their mask. If they don't come to, that's when you're gonna use naloxone. So naloxone is given by injection, because if you were to take it by mouth, it's not gonna work. So you're gonna take the top off of the naloxone vial. You're gonna draw up the contents of this, hold it like a dart, pop it into the thigh, okay? And then you're gonna plunge down on it slow and steady. By that time, hopefully emergency help will have arrived and you've bought the person a lot of time.
Snort, snort, snort. And you don't even think about food or anything. Fentanyl takes over your life. It doesn't even care. The fentanyl pill don't care.
You saved my life the first time.
Twice.
Yeah, it was 5 times.
Saved a lot of people's lives.
As soon as I sat down, I would be ODing. I had to move to not OD on that stuff.
Yeah, I walked in, this guy was sitting at, where was it, in the living room or on the table?
In the tub.
No, the first time was on the table or in the living room?
He was in the tub.
It was the tub, eh?
Yeah, you guys had to pull me out of the tub.
Yeah,
I remember
I was like,
waking up in the hospital.
I was like calling for Darcy.
Yeah, he was laying
Come
there.
help me.
How many friends have you lost because of fentanyl?
I lost Raven, Brittany. Does that include family too?
Everybody.
Everybody. Okay, so.
I lost like 4 people. No, Brittany wasn't an OD.
We even lost our auntie and uncle.
There was Mary Ann.
My auntie.
My auntie and uncle. Oh, my brother and sister, Tim and Roxanne.
They passed away together. They died together sitting at the table.
That's so wicked, eh, that they died together.
My mom phoned me. She told me she had some news and that I should sit down, and she told me my best friend, my brother, pretty much just died. Well, like, the doctors, the autopsy, like, he had fentanyl in his system. He's just been to all these rehab centers, like, time after time, like. Hey.
Hey, what's up, man?
Nothing. Who are you with?
I'm in Jake.
Oh. That's fucked up about Cole, eh?
Yeah, man.
Like, man,
How are you taking it?
it's killing me, man. Like, never gonna see the kid again. Like, he's fucking dead.
Yeah. Fuck. You talk to mom about it?
A little bit. She's gonna call. Yeah, she's gonna call me back later tonight.
Yeah.
Happens, I guess. It shouldn't have happened to him. It's been 12 friends in 2 years. That's a friend every 2 months. But this one's the hardest. Like, I think about him all the time. Like, I couldn't wait to see him again. And now I'll never get to see him. Like, I haven't seen him in like a year and a half, 2 years. All because of this. I'm stuck in Calgary. I'm trapped here. I can't leave. I can't even go to his funeral, man. Like, I can't. Can't go see his family, like, give my condolences. I just have to stay here, dude, stuck on fentanyl. So what's it gonna take to finally, like, break free from this, like, grip?
Morning. Suboxone time, man.
The effective treatments that we have are essentially medication-assisted treatment with long-acting synthetic opiates or partial opiates like methadone and Suboxone. It's a medication that the patient will take every day.
There you go.
It should keep them from having cravings and withdrawals. And it's shown to help their social function, family relationships, decrease in the involvement with criminal activity and such.
So now they just wait till it dissolves, the time it takes to dissolve?
When we get them on treatment, it's almost as though there's a complete awakening. You know, I'm not dreading waking up in the morning. It's no exaggeration to say that most people who are in the throes of addiction have no concern for whether or not they wake up in the morning.
They said Suboxone was like a miracle drug.
Yeah.
Well, I think it is. It right changed our life. Yeah.
I had 3 options in my mind, which changed my life, go to jail or overdose. So I picked change my life. This is when we went to New York, me and my wife. That was just in November. Like, she's always been there for me, hey? And I always thank her every day, every day. I tell her, thank you so much for changing my life. I wasted time that I couldn't get back for my son and my daughter. Like, I missed maybe about 2 birthdays, hey, with them, hey? And now that's what motivates me, is to get even better, be stronger, hey? Be a stronger person. Give them a dad, eh?
I'm glad I quit that. I don't want to be on this shit anymore. I don't want to die.
Me too.
If I didn't, what would happen if I didn't quit? So I'd probably be dead by now, you know that?
Now that I'm trying, like I'm on Suboxone and I'm trying to stay away from drugs, I'm healing.
Yeah.
Feels like my family once had nothing to do with me.
That's what I was telling you. They want to see you change. They still think you're doing pills and everything because they see you out there. But just do what you're doing, stay off of drugs and whatnot, and just show them, like, in the long run, they'll see you. They'll look at you and say, well, he's been trying, eh? I told your grandma you were trying to change.
Thank you
do
for
it
that.
yourself,
You're like a big
bro.
brother to me, bro.
Yeah, change yourself.
Like,
That's
when
all I
we
tell
tell
you every
people, you
day.
have to, we'll help you, but you have to help yourself, right?
I've shot up crack, meth, heroin, morphine. I did an abundance of everything, but fentanyl was always in the middle of it all. And once I hit the streets, it took over almost every thought I had that there's no way out of this other than continuing to lie, cheat, and steal, or death. And I got out of my tent that I was living in, called up my dealer, and I bought 30 pills and decided it was the day that I was gonna kill myself. I got this feeling inside of me that I really wanted to jump into this canal of water. I did about, probably, I can't remember the exact number, it was right around 25 pills, and jumping in the water. And for the first time in a long time, I felt an emotion, and it was scared. You know, I was finally scared to die. I was at the detox, and you got to talk to the doctor, and she said, you know, you shouldn't be alive. The only reason that you are alive is because I was jumping in the water. And every time I hit the water, the water was cold, and it shocked my respiratory system so that it didn't just freeze and shut down because of the fentanyl, but that shock is what kept it going. So the only thing that kept me alive was the bridge jumping. Yeah, a big part of it plays into the treatment I got at the Dream Center. I finally felt that I mattered. And that was one of the big driving forces to working at the Dream Center, which is what I do now. I work as an operational support worker, and I help take care of the guys, and when they're struggling, they come to me and I relate and we talk about it and we go through our problems together. And I show up at every grad for every person that I connect with, just to let them know the same thing that I learned that day, is that, you know, you do matter and that it is possible to have people care about you.
It's been going on like almost 3 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So at the clinic that I work at the Opioid Dependency, or ODP, we offer a combination of either methadone or Suboxone. Do you know anything about either of them?
A little bit.
And anytime we're looking at any kind of program, whether with medication, it's always good to have it augmented by, you know, counseling, because the medication does one part of it.
Yeah, you gotta do the rest.
Yeah, I mean, and so since you've been kind of using, it sounds like it had a bit of an effect on your life, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, completely. I'm like homeless right now. I don't have a job. Like, my whole life is fucked. My best friend died on Saturday, so.
He's using the fentanyl as well?
Was.
Oh, okay. All right. And it's good that you're thinking of trying to do something about it for yourself. Once we get you the stable dose, we get you out to the community, and then we just kind of see you on a regular basis. The only thing with our clinic versus Dr. Vrani, who you, I believe, talked to, that's a private clinic, and we can get in people pretty quick. We unfortunately do have a bit of a wait list at ODP, and so it's a couple of months long. So it is a bit of a process to get into our clinic. It is unfortunately a bit of a wait.
And you can't do anything about that? Like...
No. You know, a couple of months, unfortunately, is what we're looking at this point.
Okay.
And so that's pretty much it. All right. Sorry I couldn't help you any more than that, Ryan.
No worries.
I hope that we do see you at the clinic at some point.
I hope so, too.
That's, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, fuck, there's no help out here. It's fucking bullshit. Unless you got, like, money. It's like, what fucking drug addict that has to do drugs every day has money? It's frustrating, like. I'm sure if his fucking kid was on opiates, they'd be in there like fucking that. Go get high, obviously. What else is there to do? Like, I'm just back to where I started. I don't have any extra hope anymore. It's just is what it is from before we met.
Nobody can fix anybody else since they gotta fix themselves, right? And, you know, I've had those experiences where I've tried my best to try and help somebody out, like with my little brother. You know, he's a fentanyl addict too, and I brought him out here, and I bought his ticket up here and got him into treatment and everything, and I tried to do more work for his recovery than he was putting in. And when he relapsed, it devastated me, but it gave me the knowledge that I can't help everybody, no matter how hard I actually try for it, right? I just saw him on the weekend, actually. He's not doing well. He's full blown again, so he's getting kicked out. He's going back to the streets, which is probably the best thing for him, because I know for myself to get clean, I had to fall on hard times. Everyone's bottom is different, right? I mean, the pit is bottomless. We can keep going out, we can keep getting it worse for ourselves, you know? It's just you gotta hit that point where it's just not worth it anymore. Straight up, if I could get high every day and live the life that, you know, I am today, I would be doing it. But I can't, because I give everything to the disease, right? I give everything to fentanyl.
This thing ain't fucking bad.
And I wind up on the street with no friends, no family, no one to go to. And, you know, you can only sleep in a tent for so long before the choice comes in to finish it off or keep sleeping in a tent, right?
Fuck yeah, this is dope. I'd mainly just kind of stay up like all the time and just take naps here and there. But like now that I feel like I have a tent, like now I feel like I'll be sleeping in here for hours and I feel like I live in a tent now. And it's just, I don't know. Kind of just makes me realize like, yeah, I'm 100% homeless now. Like I'm definitely not happy with where I'm at in life and I don't enjoy this whatsoever. Like I might seem happy and whatever, I try and make the best of what like it is, but it's killing me and it's killing my family. I miss my friends, I miss like my normal life. I miss working every day. I miss being free. I hate being a slave to this. So I don't want to do it anymore. No, there's no one to blame but myself. I'm the one that started doing them. I'm the one that continued doing them. No one like forced me to do it. Honestly, if I can't get clean at this point, I think I'd just kill myself. Like I can't do this anymore. Like I'm killing myself anyway, and why prolong it, right? Like I'm seriously like fed up with this. I can't do it anymore. I hate it.
Instead of buying fentanyls this year, I quit. I saved up to go to a trip to Hawaii, and they enjoyed it, my kids, my wife, This was the best time here, was me and my son, That's when it really hit me. I'm standing here from a year ago. I was down and standing off, just walking around, lost my truck, lost everything. I had no more money, thinking, how am I gonna get my next fix, And then just the time with me and my son standing there, that made me really happy, You know, that's what helped me, is thinking about it, from a year ago to where now, like, I honestly thought I wasn't gonna change. I thought I was gonna keep smoking cigarettes, all that, but I've quit everything, I quit everything. Now my next goal is to just get off Suboxone, That's the next step.